Thomas Dickson was a British colonial militiaman and politician serving in Canada. Early life. The year of Thomas Dickson's birth is not clear. The Legislative Assembly of Nova Scotia, 1758 to 1983. A biographical directory and the National Historic Sites designation list gives Dickson's birth as occurring on May 3, 1733 at Colchester, Connecticut, to parents William and Rebecca Dixson, whilst the entry in the Spring Hill record commemorating Dickson's listing as a person of national historic significance listed his birth as occurring in 1732 at Dublin, Ireland. As a young child, the Dicksons moved to Norwich, Connecticut. Dixson moved to Fort Cumberland, Nova Scotia, soon after, and served as a militiaman in the capture of Fort Bois-Saint-Jean in 1755. Dixon also served with Amherst at Montreal in 1760 and with Monckton in Havana in 1762. At some point prior to 1761, Dixon traveled south to Massachusetts and met Catherine Weatherd, who he married in King's Chapel in Boston on April 9 that year. That same year, Dixon received a land grant at Fort Bois-Saint-Jean, but later moved to Point de Butte, New Brunswick. Militiaman and politician. In 1776, during the American Revolutionary War, a band of revolutionaries led by Jonathan Eddy attempted to capture Fort Cumberland as part of an effort to provoke Nova Scotia into joining the revolution against British control of the colonies. To resist this siege, known as the Battle of Fort Cumberland, Captain Dixon sailed himself and 3 volunteers in a small open boat across the Minas Basin, part of the Bay of Fundy, to warn the authorities in Halifax and bring reinforcements to the Loyalists' aid. For this effort, Dixon was named a Person of National Historic Significance in 1938. On 20 August 1776, Dixon was elected a member of the Legislative Assembly of Nova Scotia in a by-election to represent Cumberland County. In October 1778, Dixon became a Justice of the Peace for Cumberland County. In 1785, Dixon's term as a Nova Scotia Legislative Assembly member ended when New Brunswick separated from Nova Scotia. Dixon was subsequently elected to the same position he had held previously in the Legislative Assembly of New Brunswick, representing Westmoreland County. In 1802, Dixon retired from politics, and died on November 8, 1809, at Point de Butte, New Brunswick. He was survived by his wife and their 11 children. His half-brother Charles and his son Thomas Law also served in the Nova Scotia Assembly.